Now, I mentioned mainstream names, and somebody who has led the pack with that is somebody that joins us right now, and that's David Arquette from L.A. joins us here on Busted Open. What's going on, David? How are you, man?
I'm good. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Well, I appreciate it, but it sounds like Bully's question was the reason why you called in today.
Yeah, it was. And I agree. Ciampa, I love his work, but yeah, I mean, that degree of hatred, yeah, I'm not sure that exists right now. You know, I do appreciate him for his work, and I love to hate him, and MJF is doing that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you hate that guy. He's really a great heel, and he's taken some lessons from, the Roddy Pipers. I'm also working with RJ City right now a lot, and he's such a heel. We're teaming up, but reluctantly. I'm supposed to get him on a talk show, and so he's teaming up with me, but it's been quite a challenge because he isn't happy about it.
Okay, David, so you saw the tweet. You were inspired to call in. Obviously, you have a history in the wrestling business. Obviously, you are a wrestling fan. So other than the people that you're working
former
with,
world champion, but we have a little respect. He is a former world champion.
And a heel. I mean, a complete heel. I've been hated for 18 years. I mean, not, that I'm playing the heel role, but for some reason, some people don't like me, right, Bully?
Okay, so let's be introspective for a second, David. Let's look in the mirror. Did people not like you because of the legitimate heel heat that you had, or did people not like you because of the fact that Vince Russo put a championship on you?
Yeah, that's why they didn't like me, obviously. And then, and some people don't like me just because I'm from Hollywood. I'm not supposed to be in the wrestling business or whatever.
No, I don't have a problem with you, and I don't think people have that problem. I just think that you have that Russo stigma attached to you. That's the biggest problem. And we just had Vince on last week, and Vince did a great job on the show, but I think that would probably be the biggest problem. But my question for you is, other than the guys that you just mentioned, which obviously you're doing some stuff with them in the ring, across the board in the wrestling business, tell me who you truly dislike right now. Not appreciate for their work, truly dislike.
It's hard for me to say because, Roddy Piper was one of my favorite in the world, and I truly disliked him when I was younger and watching him, but I also completely appreciated how horrible he was. So people, I don't know. I mean, MJF is really sort of doing it for me right now as far as, he's just such a jerk, and everybody kind of, you just can't really like him. You know what I mean?
There's nothing likable about MJF. He comes across like an asshole.
Yeah, totally. But I don't know. I love to hate a heel. It's like Hannibal Lecter. When they, who's the biggest heel right now in the world? Bill Cosby. He's just about to get sentenced. Harvey Weinstein. Those are real heels. Those are people I hate.
All right, so let me ask you this. In this world of pro wrestling in 2018, obviously there's restrictions. You can't do back what you did in the 80s like a Roddy Piper or a Dr. D. David Schultz. You have restrictions. Can you be a full-blown hated heel with those restrictions that seem to be shackled by a lot of the heels in pro wrestling right now?
I think Samoa Joe did something cool at that last event where he called out his wife, and then there was some real reaction there, and I was there in the audience, and people were truly pissed at him at SummerSlam. So that was cool to see. I think he's a great heel, working right now, really amazing. With how he constructs his character and how he sort of digs into the emotions of people, like on a personal gut level, where someone's like, "Oh, don't talk about their kid or parents." That's real heel stuff.
David, recently you began training again, and obviously, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you're trying to make somewhat of a comeback in pro wrestling. Would that be accurate? I'm just trying
to get some respect, Bully. Some respect.
Why?
You understand that, don't you?
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Because I love this business, and I love you know, do you like people talking trash about you?
Yes, I love it.
Yes,
I love when people talk trash about me. I love it when they're talking all kinds of hatred, trash, bury me, despise me. It fuels me. I am the frickin' emperor, and I feed on that stuff. So, yes.
See, well, I think I'm a baby face at heart, so it has the opposite reaction to me, you know.
But no, I want to know seriously. You woke up one day recently and you said, I want to get back in the wrestling ring again. Why? Is it truly because of you want people to respect you for what you did in WCW?
That I wanted to understand the wrestling business more, sort of learn the history of it. I wanted to sort of explore that, like, why were people so pissed at me? Why, you know, what's the big deal? You know what I mean? I never really understood it until I sort of have gone through this journey. I've been doing a documentary about it, so that's part of sort of my angle on it. I am a filmmaker after all, and so want to sort of part of the idea with that is to, you know, bring more people into wrestling, turn them on to like what's going on. I started sort of getting falling in love with it through the LA scene here. I started going to a lot of indie SoCal independent wrestling matches, and that really started getting me, you know, excited about it again. And you know, there's like Real Wrestling and Peter Avalon, who works out of Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, started training me, and I've been working with a lot of people. I got a few matches coming up. I'm going against Scorpio Sky at Lucha Vavoom on October 25th and 26th, and I'm going to Rise on October 19th, which it will be exciting with RJ City. I'm teaming up with, and then you know, just a bunch of them. I fought King Brian Anthony up at Northeast Wrestling in Poughkeepsie, and I'm going back on November 9th. I'm going to have a rematch with him, and Kenny Omega's on that show, so that's
a big show.
Thrill for me. Yeah, it's going to be amazing.
You know, I'm pretty close to Poughkeepsie. Maybe if I'm not doing anything while you're in the ring, I'll just jump the guardrail and kick you in the face.
Yeah. By the way, bring it on. I heard you have a gym out there, and I heard somebody wouldn't let me train in it.
Yeah, that was me.
I don't know if that was you
me.
or not. Was that you?
That was me. Yes, I said no.
Well, thanks a lot.
Yeah,
thanks
no problem.
I was willing to plop some money down and actually get some place to train.
You don't have enough money to train
each other, buddy. Okay. Well, if we were to see each other, pal, you might want me to have a little training because you don't actually want to get hurt in there, do you?
Do I want to get hurt? I've been hurt for the past 25 years. Hey, I want to get back. I want to get back to something that you just said about you don't understand why people were so mad about when you were involved with WCW and being the champion. So, can you relate to it a little bit, like through Hollywood? Like you come from an acting family. You have been in some successful movies. You've been on probably a ton of auditions, correct?
Yeah.
So you've
29 years.
Yeah, and all respect to you for the dues that you paid in your industry. How does Hollywood feel? How do actors of your level or even actors at a higher level feel when you bust your ass, pay your dues, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, here comes an actor with zero experience, not one film under their belt, and all of a sudden gets the lead role in an A-list movie?
It depends. I mean, for the most part, I'm supportive. I mean, if they're not great at what they do, it sort of comes out in the cooking. You'll see that they sucked, and the movie probably will suck because of it. But, I mean, what reality stars are like taking over. I don't have any bitterness toward that. I watch a bunch of those shows, and all the power to them. I mean, whenever, I don't know, personally, I don't get all twisted about stuff like that. I think, some people get, free tickets to a concert just out of nowhere. That just happens. Life happens sometimes. Sometimes you get the golden ticket at Willy Wonka, and that just happens. So why did I become the championship champion? Because Vince Russo saw me walking around backstage getting everyone to sign Jeff Jarrett's guitar that he'd given me. So I was like just a fanboying out, and he's like, oh man, this kid's really a fan, you know, and somehow that dumb idea, you know, happened through that. But the fact of the matter is I have been a wrestling fan my whole life, and, you know, I go in and out. I mean, I'm you know, I get pissed about it and I stop watching, or, you know, certain people like, you know, WWE wouldn't call me back just to even do like little spots. I mean, I did one thing one time, but not spots in the ring, but like little promotion of movies or whatever it is. But, you know, it's all a game, you know what I mean? And if you work hard and you just keep hustling, I mean, I'm part of the entertainment side of the entertainment sport. So, you know, I loved it back in the day when on WrestleMania 1, they had Andy Warhol came to the damn thing for God's sake, and Mr. T and you know, Lou Albano, although he was involved in it and all that. But
David, what would
Cyndi Lauper? I mean, I like folk on wrestling. I think it's bigger. Like, I think people don't completely understand what it is. That is one of the oldest performing traditions that we have, that it combines sports and entertainment in a way that no other thing does, that you can actually like have heels that people hate and throw Brooks through their window. I think the fact that you can elicit that kind of emotion from something that's performance is an incredible thing.
And David, listen, I've seen it firsthand. I was at Survivor Series and I saw you backstage, and I just saw like the happiness in your face just being a part of an event like SummerSlam, and I could tell that you're a big time fan, and I understand what you're saying, and the frustration that is you bring a lot to the table. In WCW, you brought a lot of mainstream attention to WCW at a time where, hey, you know what? That was a big thing to get mainstream attention. We kind of take it for granted now, but 20 years ago, that was a huge deal. So is it kind of
like...
They
didn't have a change in the office, if they didn't have a whole change in the office, and people actually respected wrestling from the, you know, Hollywood side of that whole company, they would have stayed competitive. They wouldn't be like, you know, they wouldn't have been bought by WWE and then just sort of shelved. I mean, the fact that WWE buys this amazing, you know, historic company and then takes that belt that everyone got so mad at me for winning and then just gets rid of it doesn't make any sense. Mm-hmm. I love what, you know, NWA is doing with the 10 pounds of gold and all of them, and bringing that whole thing back and giving it some honor and tradition. And, you know, every WWE belt looks the same. I mean, I can't even tell the difference.
David, other than the respect that you just spoke about, what is your ultimate goal by trying to get back into the wrestling business? Are you trying to work for a company on a full-time basis? Is this something that you can see yourself doing full-time?
No, ultimately, I'm a fan. You know what I mean? I'll always be a fan. So, you know, part of my goal in this is to put over wrestlers like RJ City and try to, like, get them some recognition. I mean, he's big in, you know, Canada and some of the Northeast areas, but people don't know him sort of beside that. And us doing our match on Championship Wrestling from Hollywood was part of putting them over, putting Dave Marquez, who's been working in this business forever, over, you know, putting Michael Lombardi, who does Northeast Wrestling, over. I mean, that's part of it. Putting Brian Anthony, who's Punk, but still, I want to help, you know, get attention for these guys who have sacrificed their bodies and you know, committed their lives to wrestling and do whatever they can to pay their bills. And, you know, Scorpio Sky, for instance, is just an insane champion and such a knowledgeable guy and giving all kinds of, you know, pointers and training and tips and just, you know, you guys know that with what he does, you know, with your company.
True. So David, let me ask you this: instead of getting into the ring, maybe you would be better suited, like as an on-air personality or involved in creative with an organization. Did you ever think about going that route?
I don't know if you guys have seen any of my matches, but on a short learning curve, I'm doing pretty well.
All right, so you want to be in the ring then?
I'm an entertainer, man. I'm not a reporter, or I married a reporter, but I'm not color commentary. I'm not Jesse Ventura. Do you think
you would make
commentary because he wasn't so great in the ring?
Wait. Time out. You just said Jesse was a commentator because he wasn't great in the ring?
There's a little truth to that.
So do you think...
I mean, come on. Hulk Hogan's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. He wasn't the greatest guy in the ring. No offense, Hulk. Anyone could do a leg drop.
But do you think you'd be... To Dave's question that he just asked you, do you think you'd be better suited in the wrestling business as a manager? Because you are entertaining when you speak. Do you think that'd be a better role for you?
Well, I mean, maybe that'd be a better role for you. Because you're more entertaining when you speak. I'm just kidding.
God, you're digging yourself into a hole here, David.
No, I'm just messing around. I'm sorry if someone can't take a joke over there. I
can take all the jokes in the world. They just have to be funny.
Oh, okay.
So I'm trying to ask you a legitimate follow-up question based on what LaGreca asked you, because you're talking about sitting here that you're working with all these companies and you want to help put guys over. But do you think guys beating you or working with you actually puts them over? Or maybe you just don't understand what putting somebody over in the wrestling business truly means.
No, maybe I don't. That's part of I'm on a learning curve. I didn't know that sucks means it hurts a lot. So I'm learning things every second. And I'd be a manager. I mean, I'm 47 years old, so me getting back into this whole thing and taking these bumps isn't, I'm not going to say it's not fun, but I'm open to whatever. I'm a part of I know what sort of putting people over means, but to a certain extent. But maybe I don't know the whole meaning of it. I mean, there's tons of stuff that what's a glom? I'm asking. What? I'm learning these things. I'm learning where the spots are within a match. I'm learning how to construct a match. I mean, I'm learning the intricacies of some of these things within a match, like how it all happens. I don't know when the heat comes, when it doesn't. I don't know
and I think that's where I'm trying to help you here. I think that's where the hatred comes from, because when wrestling fans, especially wrestling fans who listen to this show, when they hear you say that you're still learning and you don't understand some of the most basic stuff, that's where the hatred comes from 18 years ago, because they say, hey, whether it's entertainment or not, this guy should have not been around the wrestling industry. So
I think that's ignorant, though. I mean, if you don't want people around the wrestling industry and just wrestlers and just people within the wrestling industry, that's fine. But you're never going to grow the business to be
as the champion. As the champion, I meant to clarify. I mean, as the champion, not that you don't belong in the wrestling.
By the way,
business.
I don't think I deserve to be the champion. I'll gladly wrestle someone, to take the replica belt I have, if that's, something down the line.
No, I was just trying I'm just trying to compare why you might have gotten that hatred for the past 18 years that you're now trying to get that respect back.
Yeah. I mean, I understand the hatred. I want to prove some people wrong.
All right. Well, we wish you luck, and I know you're going to be with Northeast Wrestling in November. So maybe when you're in the New York area, you could stop by our studios. We'd love to have you as an in-studio guest around that time if you're free.
Yeah, I'd love to. Thank you, guys. I'd love to come in.